Let me ask you something honest. When you think about your finances right now, how do you feel? In control or like you're always just barely keeping up? Like money comes in and somehow disappears before you even figure out where it went? If that's familiar, I want you to know something important. You're not failing. You're not irresponsible. You're not bad with money. You were just never taught what to do with it. And your 20s come with a very specific set of tropes. Tropes that look completely normal from the outside. Tropes that almost everyone around you is falling into, which is exactly what makes them so dangerous. Today, we're going to talk about the 10 money mistakes people make in their 20s. Not to make you feel bad, but to help you see clearly. Because awareness is the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be. Mistake number one: spending everything you earn. Your first real paycheck is a feeling unlike anything else. For the first time in your life, you have money. Real money. Money you earned and it feels like freedom. So you spend it on things you wanted, on a lifestyle that finally feels like your own. And at first, nothing feels wrong. But here's what actually happening. Every dollar you earn and immediately spend is a dollar that will never compound, never grow, never become more than it is today. Compounding doesn't care about your feelings, it cares about time. And every month you spend everything, it's a month of compounding that's gone forever. The habit of spending everything you earn doesn't just cost you money, it costs you the future version of that money, which is always worth so much more. Mistake number two: thinking budgeting is only for broke people. Most people in their 20s believe that budgeting is for people who are struggling. And because things don't feel that bad, budgeting feels unnecessary, even embarrassing. But here's the truth: wealthy people understand, and most people in their 20s don't. Budgeting is not a sign that you're struggling, it's the reason you stop struggling. A budget is not restriction, it's a decision. It's you deciding in advance where your money goes instead of wondering where it went. Without the decision, money flows toward whatever feels easiest, whatever feels most urgent. And at the end of the month, you're left with nothing. Not because you spent irresponsibly, but because you spent without intention. Mistake number three: treating debt like it doesn't matter. Debt in your 20s feels manageable. Small monthly payments, easy to push to the back of your mind. But here's what's happening underneath: that compounds quietly, steadily, and the interest you're paying is not just money leaving your account. It's money that will never be available build anything. Every dollar's going toward interest is a dollar that could have gone into savings, into an investment, into your future. That ignored in your 20s becomes debt that defines your 30s. And the hardest part is not paying it off. The hardest part is realizing how many options it took from you because you were always paying someone else first. Mistake number four: lifestyle inflation after every raise. You work hard, you get a raise, so you upgrade. A nicer apartment, a better phone, eating out more often, and it feels earned because it is. But here's what happens next: the race gets completely absorbed by the new lifestyle, and you're back where you started, earning more, saving nothing. This is lifestyle inflation, one of the most silent wealth destroyers in your 20s, because it doesn't feel like a mistake, it feels like progress. But wealth is not built by spending more when you earn more. Wealth is built in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. And lifestyle inflation closes that gap every single time. Mistake number five: waiting to start investing. Most people in their 20s have a plan for investing. It sounds like this: I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I understand it better. I'll start when I'm ready. And the years pass. Ready never quite arrives. Here's what that actually costs you. Money invested in your 20s has 30 to 40 years to compound. The same money invested in your 30s has 20 to 30 years. Same money, completely different outcome. because of one thing: time. And the time is one of the ingredients you cannot buy back. You cannot go back to 23. You cannot reclaim the compounding years you skipped. Small amounts invested early will always outperform large amounts invested late. Your 20s are not too early to start. They are exactly the right time. Mistake number six: having no emergency fund. Life in your 20s feels stable until it doesn't. A sudden job loss, a medical expense, a car breakdown at the worst possible time, a family emergency that needs money you don't have. And here's the part that hurts the most: it's never the emergency itself that destroys your finances, it's the chain reaction that follows. The debt you take on to survive it, the high interest on that debt, the months of recovery that follow, the savings you never get to build because you're too busy digging out of a hole that an emergency fund would have prevented entirely. Without an emergency fund, every unexpected moment becomes a full financial crisis, one that forces you into debt, into borrowing from people you'd rather not borrow from, into desperate decisions with long term consequences. An emergency fund is not exciting. It doesn't feel productive just sitting there, but it is the single most important financial buffer you can build because it's not about the emergencies you predict, it's about the ones you can't. Mistake number seven: comparing your life to everyone around you. Social media in your 20s is a financial weapon because it shows you everyone's highlight reel: the vacations, the upgrades, the lifestyle that looks effortless and abundant. And your brain processes all of it as a standard you need to meet. So you spend on things you don't really want, for an image you don't really need, to impress people who aren't really watching. But here's the reality behind those highlight reels: most of what you see online is financed by debt. The people who look the most financial free are often the least financially stable. And the people quietly building wealth rarely post about it. Because building wealth is boring. It doesn't make a good photo, but it makes an extraordinary life. Mistake number eight: neglecting your financial education. Your 20s are the most valuable learning years of your financial life, not because you have the most money, but because you have the most time. Time to build habits, time to develop real financial awareness. But most people spend that time doing everything except learning about money. And so it gets postponed until your 30s arrive. And the decisions are bigger, the stakes are higher, and you're making them without the foundation you should have built years earlier. Financial education doesn't require a course or a degree. It requires curiosity, a willingness to understand where your money goes and what decisions will actually move forward. That curiosity built in your 20s is worth more than any salary increase you'll ever receive, because the person who understands money will always outlast the person who simply earns it. Mistake number nine: saving what's left instead of saving first. Most people approach saving the same way. They earn, they spend on needs, they spend on wants, and then at the end of the month, they save whatever is left, which is usually nothing. The problem is not the intention. The intentions is always there. The problem is the sequence, because saving what's left means saving always compete with everything else, and everything else always wins. The solution is simple: save first. The moment your salary arrives, set aside a portion before you spend anything else, because you're not saving what's left. You're spending what's left after saving. That one shift in sequence changes everything over time. Mistake number 10: living like the future is far away. This is the deepest mistake of all, because in your 20s, the future genuinely feels distant. Retirement feels like someone else's problem. Financially security feels like something you'll figure out later. But hear what nobody tells you: the future doesn't announce itself, it arrives. And who you become in your 40s, the options you have, the freedom you feel, is entirely determined by the decisions your 25-year-old self made. Decisions that felt small, decisions that felt like they could wait. The future is not far away, it is being built right now, today, with every financial decision you make. Your 20s are not rehearsal. They are the foundation. And everything you build on a weak foundation eventually shows the cracks. But here's what I want you to hold on to: awareness is not the same as regret. You are not too late. You are not too far behind. You are exactly where you need to be to make a different decision. Starting today, one habit change, $1 saved intentionally, one decision made with awareness instead of impulse. That's all it takes to begin. And beginning is everything. This is the Asian Broke Diary, where we have the money conversations nobody else is having. Honestly, simply, without judgment, because your financial story is not over. It's just getting started.